Good morning, Trump family. Have a nice weekend, everyone, and God bless you. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that notifications bell so you don't miss a thing. Alright, the following is a collection of news from Patriots. Let's get into the news this Saturday morning. In a huge win for election security in the state of Wisconsin. That's right. The Wisconsin Supreme Court has ruled drop boxes for voting is not its unconstitutional. It goes against its constitution of the state of Wisconsin. So a huge win coming in the coming months before the midterm election. So this is a great win. Hopefully more states will continue to follow that lead and continue to ban these drop boxes. Of course, that says Wisconsin Supreme Court ruling is a loss for Rhina Speaker Vos and Hillary attorney Mark Ellis, but a win for the GOP AG candidate Karen Mueller. So let's kind of take a look at this story coming here. It says Wisconsin Supreme Court today ruled that drop boxes are not constitutional in the state. This is a loss for the Rhino Speaker Robin Vos, who supported drop boxes in Wisconsin and across the country. This is also a loss for Hillary attorney Mark Ellis and a win for the GOP AG candidate. Karen Mueller moments ago to Wisconsin Supreme Court announced its ruling on drop boxes in the state, saying they are illegally or illegal under Wisconsin statutes. In 2022, TGP with the Gateway Pundit reported a lawsuit in the state brought by Wisconsin's attorney Karen Mueller. This case was eventually thrown out by the state Supreme Court today. Mueller finally won. Mueller the uncovered during the efforts to get rid of drop boxes at the Wisconsin Speaker. Robin Vos has comments on drop boxes were used by Hillary's attorney Mark Ellis as a reason to allow for drop boxes in the state. Mueller's is now running for the Wisconsin Attorney General in the states. She wants to address the election security and COVID-related issues that have occurred in the state over the past few years. Mark Ellis desperate represent the Democrats desperate for sure. In the state, his record of losses is now mounting up so much so that Democrats are beginning to distance themselves from him. So yeah, great. It's a great win for election security in the state of Wisconsin. Which is fantastic heading into the midterm elections as they get rid of the drop boxes across the state. And hopefully other states will follow suit, other states that had issues prior, and elections hopefully they will be able to fix these things as well. So fantastic win. It's always great to get great news right before the weekend. And hopefully you guys have enjoyed that. Do you guys, if any of you guys are in Wisconsin, let me know. Let me know how big a victory this is for you guys in that state. It sounds like a total win again for election security moving forward. Radical left grows impatient with Joe Biden. The radical left this week has grown impatient with Biden, criticizing him for his moderate and timid leadership. Radical Democrats have aired grievances that Biden, quote, is enacting with or perhaps is even capable of the urgency of the moment demands to reshape the nation. Rudderless, aimless, and hopeless, one member of Congress described at the White House to CNN, Camille Rivera, a Democrat strategist, said Biden is missing an opportunity to change America, quote, he's missing the boat here. This is our time to dig in and be absolutely furious, because these half measures are not working. He's got a real excitability problem. Rivera said. Democrat consultant Adam Jensen stated that Biden is not filling the leadership vacuum. Quote, there's a leadership vacuum right now and he's not filling it. He said, I sympathize with the argument that there's very little they can do legislatively. But in moments of crisis, the president is called upon to be a leader. And when people are feeling scared and angry and outraged, they look to him for that. And they're not getting much. A third Democrat strategist vented that Biden's inaction is frustrating, quote, it's infuriating. The person said, our house is on fire and it seems like they are doing nothing to put the fire out. They're just watching it with the rest of us. Democrats once again revive effort to shutter Guantanamo Bay. Democrats in Congress are once again reviving their efforts to shut down the Guantanamo Bay detention facility. Though the effort will face the usual Senate battle. Democratic lawmakers have moved legislation to shutter the facility in Cuba forward in recent months as part of the annual defense spending bill, which is expected to be voted upon in the coming weeks. The move will likely face a mountain of opposition from Senate Republicans who largely oppose the effort. Retiring Oklahoma Senator James Inhofe told The Hill, I'm sure it's not going to happen. No rational person is going to support that. It's an absolutely vital institution. Alabama Representative Mike Rogers concurred that it is unlikely Democrats will secure the votes needed to shut down Gitmo. They have such slim majorities right now, it's difficult for them to do anything. So getting something that controversial done is just as a practical matter not going to happen. Democrat Senator Pat Lee said we should have closed it years ago, adding that he agrees with both President Biden and former President Barack Obama. I would vote for anything to close Guantanamo Bay. You have to have the votes, and we've tried before and they haven't been able to get it, he said. According to data from the American Civil Liberties Union, close to 800 people have been detained at the maximum security prison since it was opened in 2002. Following the 9/11 attacks. Currently, there are fewer than 40 prisoners still being held in the facility, and the Biden administration continues to work to reduce the number of detainees held there. The Biden administration remains dedicated to a deliberate and thorough process focused on responsibly reducing the detainee population and ultimately closing the Guantanamo facility. A spokesperson for the National Security Committee said, 5,000 migrants apprehended over 4th of July weekend in. While American families gathered to celebrate Independence Day weekend, Del Rio Sector Border Patrol agents apprehended nearly 5,000 migrants. Another 1,000 eluded custody. Del Rio Sector Chief Patrol Agent Jason De Owens tweeted a video report detailing the weekend's activities by his agents. Over the 4th of July weekend, Del Rio Sector agents apprehended 4,946 migrants. An additional 922 migrants were reclassified as God awaits are migrants observed by agents or electronic surveillance, but are not apprehended. God always also include tracks of migrants not actually observed. Quote, large groups continue to be a problem for us. The chief explained this past holiday weekend we had 7 large groups of 100 people or more. In addition to the nearly 5,000 apprehensions, agents rescued 38 migrants from life-threatening incidents. Unfortunately, the chief said migrants died after being exposed to the Texas heat for an extended period of time by human smugglers. Biden to allow some migrants with terrorist ties into country, raising security concerns. People who worked with terrorist groups will now have an easier time entering the U.S. legally. Last week, the State and Homeland Security Department announced they had altered the Immigration and Nationality Act, a federal law to grant entry into the U.S. and other immigration benefits to those who provided limited or insignificant material support to designated terrorist organizations. Examples of such support include routine commercial transactions, humanitarian assistance, substantial pressure that does not rise to the level of duress, and the satisfaction of certain well-established or verifiable family social or cultural obligations. The amended language detailed in a notice to the Federal Register, it creates a carve-out so immigration restrictions, including an entry ban into the country, no longer apply to these individuals provided they show they pose no danger to the safety and security of the United States. The changes are raising alarm bells among immigration and national security experts who told Just the News that the Biden administration is potentially endangering American lives. This is a very concerning decision to weaken the government's ability to keep supporters of terror groups from exploiting our generous immigration system, said Jessica Vaughn, Director of Policy Studies at the Center for Immigration Studies. This policy essentially makes excuses on behalf of foreign nationals who have been found to support terror groups, giving them deniability, and enables naive bureaucrats to look the other way at a record of concerning behavior on the part of applicants. A State Department spokesperson told Just the News that the move is meant to specifically to help Afghans so they don't get flagged unfairly and can enjoy America's immigration benefits. This action will allow the U.S. government to meet the protection needs of qualifying Afghans who do not pose a national security or public safety risk and provide them with the ability to access a durable immigration status in the United States. The spokesperson said, however, the actual language of the new rule is broad and appears to apply to all countries and U.S.-designated terrorist organizations such as ISIS and al-Qaeda. According to experts and former officials, the rule doesn't specifically mention Afghans, Afghanistan, or the Taliban. If this regulation is truly intended only for the restricted case of Afghanistan, the administration should quickly amend this regulation to remove the troubling loopholes, wrote Gabriel Naranja, who served in the Trump administration as a special advisor for Iran at the State Department. Poll majority of Black Hispanic Americans say US is already in a recession. A majority of Black and Hispanic adults believe that the U.S. is already in a recession, according to a recent Economist/YouGov poll. The poll found that 51% of Black Americans and 54% of Hispanic Americans believe the United States is currently in an economic recession. 25% of Black Americans do not believe the U.S. is in a recession. While 24% are not sure, 28% of Hispanic Americans do not believe the U.S. is in a recession, while 80% are not sure what they believe is the best indicator that the country is in a recession. A plurality of Black Americans 48% and Hispanic Americans 47% responded with the prices of goods and services. By the survey also found that 67% of white men without a college degree believe the country is in a recession, while 59% of white women without a college degree responded the same way. For those who are college graduates, 53% of white men believe the country is in a recession, while 57% of white women responded the same way. The poll asked 1,500 U.S. citizens aged 18 and over or 1,359 registered voters and was conducted between June 25 and 28. The margin of error is plus or minus 3.2%. The economy under President Joe Biden has suffered considerably, as consumer spending lags while inflation has hit a 40-year high. As Breitbart News recently reported, the American economy shrank at a 1.6% annual pace, which is the first time since the start of the coronavirus pandemic in March 2020 that the economy registered a negative rate of growth. Furthermore, consumer spending only increased marginally at 1.8% compared to what was estimated to be a 3.1% increase as consumer spending decreases. Prices have risen at a 7.1% annual pace. According to the U.S. government, consumers have been feeling the squeeze of inflation, most notably with soaring gas prices and increased grocery expenses. Thanks for sticking around. Follow me daily. I will do my best to show you. There's a lot of information that shows what's going on. Remember where we go. 1.